So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are world over. Green morning, green afternoon, and green evening to everybody, wherever you are joining us from the different continents, different parts, different countries of the world. We extend you a very hearty welcome to yet another very powerful evening. It's a 120th webinar, Making Education Relevant. Ladies and gentlemen, during this pandemic, during this coronavirus, we have started the global confluence of educators, motivators, counselors, technocrats, and all the stakeholders, policymakers, so that the education system has to be taken care of and it has to be further empowered globally. At present, almost 1.8 billion children, when I repeat, as per the UNESCO, 1.8 billion children. At present, they are away from their schools, their colleges, their universities, their polytechnics, their ITIs. Wherever they are studying at present, they are away. So we got to be taking care of all of them because they are in different age groups and they are in different arenas and different programs. So ladies and gentlemen, let me start right from Canada, United States, and Latin America because it's early morning over there and people have just got up on the eastern shore, western shore, middle part, wherever you are in the different provinces. We extend you a very warm, wonderful morning. We hope that you're taking care of your health, you're taking care of your wellness, and at the same time, you have opened your Facebook, you have opened your watch parties, and you are on Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page. I have yet to learn from my youngsters, from the millennials, as well as from the elders. You feel shy to tell in the public that you want to learn something new. I wish to learn at the age of 70 as a humble student from all of you. Then why do you feel shy to log in the webinar and you want to come on the Facebook and you want to come on the watch party? But well, your happiness is our happiness, your wellness is our wellness. So ladies and gentlemen, whatever mode suits you, it's entirely up to you. You can go ahead accordingly, but enjoy your morning in Canada, in United States, in Latin America, wherever you are. I know our presidents, our advisors, and our research associates from Peru, from Mexico, from Panama, and besides that, Costa Rica, Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, Chile. You're joining us from the different places. And at the same time, whether you are in downtown Ontario, in Toronto, Mississauga, or you are in Calgary, you are in Quebec, you are in Edmonton, you are in Winnipeg, or you are in British Columbia on the western coast when I talk about Surrey, and coming from there to Seattle, where we have got the Microsoft headquarters, you are in Edmonton, you are in San Francisco, you are in Fresno, you are in Los Angeles, you are in California, or you are in New York, or you are in Chicago, or Wisconsin City, wherever you are, we extend you a very hearty welcome, all of you. Let me come from there to the lunchtime that is in the UK and the entire European Union. When I talk about the entire galaxy of the Europe, ladies and gentlemen, you all have done justice with your lunch. And before you go for your evening tea and coffee, we are right with you at this point of time. From Europe, let me move on and I bring you to Central Asia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan. Wherever you are, we call you Dobre Večer. Daragie Instituta Padalam Turizma I Upravlenia Vyuroputit Shitsvi Razristria Watch. We extend you a very hearty welcome to be a part of this particular program. From Central Asia, we bring you to South Asia, and we've got the people from Afghanistan, we've got people from Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Maldives, from Nepal. We extend you all a very hearty welcome to be a part of this particular program. From there, I swill around and I take you to the Middle East. People, those are joining us from Saudi Arabia, those are joining us from Doha, Qatar, from Oman, from Kuwait, from Abu Dhabi, from Sharjah, from Dubai. We extend you a very warm welcome, hearty welcome to each one of you. Thank you for joining us for this particular program. From there, ladies and gentlemen, let me take you to 650 million population in the 10 beautiful countries in the ASEAN region. Southeast Asia, when I talk about right here, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei, Vietnam, all the places. Thank you very much for joining us. And I'm going a little across ASEAN also, and I go to a beautiful country called Bahrain, and there also I've got 270 families. Those are non-resident Indians, those join us from there. I take you to Mauritius, to the Port Louis. You'll be surprised to know 60% population of Mauritius originated from Bihar, because these were the people, those were taken from sugarcane and couple of other plantations over there. We go to Seychelles, and from there, Mauritius, Seychelles, let me move and I bring you all the way to African continent. We are in Uganda, we are in Kenya, we are in Mozambique, we are in South Africa, we are in Senegal, and wherever you are, we extend you a very hearty welcome. Thank you for joining us. And if I go little late in the evening, we are there in Seoul, and that is in South Korea, and we are also in Taiwan. Dr. Christie, I'm so grateful to you. It's quite late for you over there, but you are still a part of it. And at the same time, our friends, those are joining from Seoul. Tejenderji, I know your restaurant is alive, and your restaurant is live at this point of time. People enjoy Indian curry, people enjoy Indian food, and you have got a beautiful restaurants over there. We extend you a very hearty welcome. If I come to little more late evening, people, those are there in Japan, particularly my monk friends, and of course, Indo-Japanese Chamber of Commerce, when I talk about right from Sapporo, Hokkaido, Kobe, Kyoto, Fukuoka, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Yokohama, Tokyo, all the places you join us. Shivasse narateo tatako, Shivasse narataido de Shimbaso. We extend you a very hearty welcome, warm welcome, and a wonderful welcome. And let me now come to the Karam Bhumi, the Janam Bhumi, and Matra Bhumi, and whatsoever you want to call. भारत में आज की शाम 7:07 पर आप सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत, आप सब लोगों का बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन। भारत में जिस भी प्रांत में, जिस भी राज्य में, जिस भी शहर में, जहां पर भी आप हैं, अपना ख्याल रखिए, अपने परिवार का ख्याल रखिए, अपने साथियों का ख्याल रखिए, और आपके आस पड़ोस में जितने लोग हैं उनका भी ख्याल रखिए। कोरोना के केसेस बहुत तेजी से बढ़ रहे हैं, और आप सबसे हम अनुरोध करेंगे कि जिन नियमों का पालन करने के लिए आपको कहा गया है, उन नियमों का पालन कीजिए और अपना ख्याल रखिए। तो इन सब चीजों के साथ आइए हम सफर की तरह, हम जुल्फ की तरह, हम राही की तरह, हम नवाज की तरह हम लोग आगे बढ़ते हैं, सारे विश्व का भ्रमण करते हुए और सभी कॉन्टिनेंट में आपको छूते हुए, क्योंकि मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया, न्यूजीलैंड और फिजी आपको नहीं लेके गया, क्योंकि वहां लोग सपनों की दुनिया में इस समय रात्रि में हैं। हमारा चेंबर 1994 से, we are proud of our Indians, those are abroad. There are more than 30 million non-resident Indians in the different countries world over. Since 1994, our chamber, International Chamber for Service Industry, is getting the confluence of all the non-resident Indians, corporate and the government, and various white papers, action plan, roadmaps, and different strategies we are giving from time to time to the government, how to empower the humanity and particularly the services sector. Monday to Friday, we talk with you on purely education, 7 to 8 p.m. Saturday, we talk about your wellness, where with the help of Ministry of Ayush, Namogange, and others, we try and bring it, yoga, meditation, naturopathy, all that we try and share with you, organic farming, living, healthy living, positive living. We know during this lockdown, the thought processes are affected, the business is affected, physical and mental health is affected. The main part of the universe is education is deeply affected, we all understand. Ladies and gentlemen, we wish to share with you 27th of August 1955. It's a historic day. Of course, it's a historic day because we have got a very distinguished guest from Mumbai who is going to share his vision, and he is going to share with us what are the various legislation and law and everything related to education in a little while. But today, on 27th of August in 1955, the first edition of Guinness Book of Records was published in Great Britain. So it's a very important day. It's a historic day. And at the end, I will share something else also with you. What exactly is there? From India, we talk about Vasudev Kutumbakam. One world, one love, one family. All of us together, the global education collaboration, which we have to take into consideration. The government of India, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, the Education Minister of India, and the entire cabinet and all the stakeholders in education, There's a new education policy which has been announced for 2020. And ladies and gentlemen, what a beautiful flipping. 1968 was the Kothari Commission report. And if you flip the last two words, that is 68 to 86, that means 1986, we had the second policy on the education. 1992, minor changes were made into that. And thereafter, now on 29th of July 2020, the new education policy, where once again, India has to become the Vishwa Guru. It has to become the knowledge superpower. From morning 9 a.m. to evening 9 p.m. 12 hours non-stop service from our chamber world over. We try to reach all the way, entire world, wherever it is possible, whether to empower the educators, empower the youth, empower teachers, technocrats, whatever is needed, whether it's soft skills or hard skills or technical skills or vocational skills or internship, whatever you're looking forward to, our chamber from morning 9 till evening. Women empowerment is very, very empowering, because for a long time we deprived girls from the education, and all the times it was thought of, and that was too sad and bad. We always give a priority. Only we thought that, okay, the girls, they got to be kept at home and boys got to be given the priority. No, ladies and gentlemen, you got to realize that when you raise a male child, when you educate a male child, you educate individual. But when you educate female child, you educate 7 to 8 next generations. Now, when we talk about this particular series, which is going on, and today is 120th webinar, making education relevant. That is, we started on the World Environment Day, 5th of June, because all the research which we gathered from the world over, it was conveyed to us the next misunderstanding, the next global crisis is going to be related to water scarcity, water shortage, water sharing, and water innovations. So जल ही जीवन है, जल से ही कल है, जल का संरक्षण बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. So every evening we get 5 young girls from different institutions from world over. They share their thought process with us. So today also you'll be hearing for a minute or two directly focused on how to save water, what exactly the strategies, what is to be done. And I always look forward to some new creativity and innovation. This younger generation has got lots of ideas, give them the opportunity. So Monday to Friday we discussed, now come on Saturday morning. Every Saturday morning at 9:30, we talk about Lord Buddha's teaching, philosophy, preaching, whatever he conveyed. So our Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya ji, the International Buddhist Confederation Secretary General, he brings the various stakeholders from the whole world and they share the thought process with us. What is Buddha's teachings relevance in today's education system? And that is applicable world over because there are more than 500 million followers of the Buddhism. Saturday evening, we talk about yoga, meditation, naturopathy, Ayurveda. Come Sunday morning, 9:30, we talk about Srimad Bhagavad Gita and we talk about all the Upanishads. And we get you the professor all the way from California, Professor Satendra Dhiman. He discusses and he shares his vision, his thought process, and whatsoever he got while sitting in the charan of the gurus at Rishikesh and a couple of other places. Wherever he has gone to a lot of saints and monks, last 40 years, he shares the vision with us. What exactly is the relevance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and India's Upanishad in today's education system? This is a journey from Vidya se Adhyatam Vidya ki aur. Then comes Sunday evening, 5 p.m. on Sunday evening, ladies and gentlemen. We discuss with you the India-ASEAN joint collaboration. And focus area we have kept northeast part of India. Beautiful 8 states. The Honorable Prime Minister of India calls it Ashtalakshmi. And when we talk about it, it's an India-ASEAN series. And comes Sunday evening, 7 p.m. And we discuss with you the micro, small, and the medium enterprise where we take. Imagine, the girls are doing wonderful today, world over. This little child, she came all the way from Canada after finishing her studies in Vancouver, and at present she has set up her own startup, and she is a Khadi Kavach. She is working on to that all the way from Maharashtra. We are proud of her. She is dedicating. She is providing to armed forces, paramilitary, paramedical, and at the same time to the police forces and everybody. And she is working on Khadi sustainability. So this is the entire canvas which our chamber has painted with the different colors. And 4th of September, don't forget, you are the part of this journey. All these 120 webinars which we complete today, ladies and gentlemen, it's your support, it's your vision, it's your inputs, it's your confluence, it's your strategy, and it's all your support for this program. So on 4th of September, on the eve of India's Teacher Day, which falls on 5th of September, we will be holding Thanksgiving evening to the global warriors. Those are from the entire education fraternity. They are going to be together with us. And on the eve of the India's Teacher Day, we will appreciate, we will recognize, and we will honor all the people those have supported this particular cause. Now our chamber, throughout the world, wherever our research teams are, they have given the inputs from the entire world, from the different continents, that now the new normal is going to be altogether different. What is going to be that new normal? That is to be shared. The B2B, which was known earlier as business to business, now it will be termed as back to basics. It will not be termed as business to business. And when you talk about back to basics, ladies and gentlemen, you got to understand over here, the food is the basic necessity. And thereafter comes your health and wellness. And the third part is your education. Education is going to have a complete reforms and changes, and particularly with the new education policy, the flipped learning, the digital learning, the technology-based learning, outside the classroom learning, vocational learning, skill learning, competencies and internship, all that is going to come through. So this is the last slide I wish to share with all of you. Whatever human mind can conceive and believe, ladies and gentlemen, it can achieve. Let's come together. Let's make education relevant. It's a global confluence of educators, motivators, technocrats, and counselors from the world over. Now, should you wish to be a panelist, should you wish to give any suggestion, you can send us at innovation@icsi.asia, or you can also send us a WhatsApp message. These are the 5 warriors, our little kiddies. Those are joining us this evening. We have got Sanjukta, we have got Shraddha, we have got Priyanka, we have got Janaki, and we have got Ahana. 5 of them, they will share their vision, direct approach for a minute or two after our main speaker has spoken and he has shared his vision. And these 5 kids will talk about how to save water, and we are looking forward to. And I wish to tell each one of you that at the end of this particular series, there are some surprises, special surprises. So come out with the innovative ideas, give us these strategies, what exactly has to be done in water saving when there is a water scarcity. This all is done under the dynamic leadership of Colonel K.C. Manon, who is our ICSI regional advisor for the entire South India. His cell number is also listed over here, ladies and gentlemen. It's 87544-26270. Should you wish to come as a panelist to give your suggestion, and if you're a female child or a girl child studying in any college, school, institution, anywhere, any training you're taking, you're more than welcome. We are taking the students from world over. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here is the warrior of the evening, Mr. Raghav Pandey. He is the Assistant Professor of the Law, Maharashtra National Law University in Mumbai. Mr. Pandey is also a Senior Research Fellow at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Mumbai. He is an alumni of the National Law University, Lucknow, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, and Indian Law Institute, New Delhi. Along with having publication on the current affairs, history, constitutional law, and the criminal law, he is also a contributor at First Post, Money Control, The Print, and The Hindu. We extend a very hearty welcome to Mr. Raghav Pandey this evening. He comes from the beautiful states called Uttar Pradesh. He belongs to Prayagraj, which was earlier known as Allahabad. It's a wonderful place. Those of you who have visited, it's fine. Those of you who have not visited, do visit. It's a wonderful place. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me remove the curtain, and right at the center stage, let me get the warrior and let me get the celebrity of the evening today. A very hearty welcome and a pleasure to have with us Mr. Raghav Pandey to share his vision and to share his ideas and whatsoever he wishes to tell us with regard to. The globe is yours, the continents are yours, audience is yours, and I'm sure because the world over, I got to learn from all of you. Why do you don't want to come directly in the webinar, logging in? Even if people read your name and they come to know, I'm going to say age is no profile. If I'm learning at this particular age, you should not feel shy to learn from each other. Ladies and gentlemen, you should learn till your last breath on this planet. Let's remain as a student. It will be much better. But at the same time, today's younger generation and the people world over, should you wish to come directly only on the Facebook, well, you're more than, I would say, we will be more than happy. Share your thought process over there, share your vision over there, share your ideas over there. Do post your name, your country, your city, your email, your cell number, so that we can send you a certificate from the International Chamber for Service Industry for your valuable participation and sparing this evening for all of us. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, Raghav Pandey, I would request you to unmute your mic, and I go into the mute and into the complete silence zone because I have spoken enough, and now we wish to have your views. With these words, Mr. Raghav Pandey.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for having me here and for the kind introduction. I'll deliver my talk in two verticals. One will be on what is the relevance of legal education in at a school level, and then what is the problem of legal education as such, especially in the context of my country, India. So let us start with the idea of having any legal system, any constitutional system. All of you must have heard of Constitution. Constitution is a basic law which is there in almost all countries. It can be a written constitution or it can also be an unwritten constitution. The United Kingdom, which the country which has been our colonial master, works without a written constitution. It has certain norms and principles which they have not written it, but they abide by it. So not writing something does not make it irrelevant. It is also very, very important. You must have heard that even in our tradition in India, Vedas, for example, used to be in the form of Shrutis and Smritis. So they were just memorized and transmitted. They were never written. So these writing something is not so important. However, we see that we have our written constitution here, and why is it important? Most students who study the constitution in a school at a school level, they do it in the form of their course in civics in class 9th and 10th. They just learn a few provisions which are present, and then for the rest of their lives, they only just know that there is a constitution and on the basis of which a country works. But what is the actual relevance of it in our real lives? Its importance is something which we do not know or do not understand. I will try and give you a brief overview that why constitution and its study is important. So, which makes a case that why shouldn't law also be a part of the curriculum at the school level, not just in India but everywhere else. So, for example, I am delivering this talk. Will it be? You should wonder, will it be possible without a constitution? Most of you will think that what has the constitution to do with it? I am there speaking. You are there to listen. What is the constitution doing? So, for example, this talk is being delivered through a platform, Zoom platform. Uh, I'm sure that Dr. Sharma must have paid for it. This is a paid service. So while paying, various set of laws regulate it. Number one, you are paying it in the form of rupees, I believe, because we are subscribing it in India. What makes rupee a legal tender? This is an RBI Act, a law of the Parliament, which makes a rupee note something on the basis of which you can purchase a good or a service. The RBI Act is enacted by the Parliament. Parliament is having this authority to enact laws because there is a constitution. So if there is no constitution, there is no parliament. There is no parliament, so there is no RBI Act. If there is no RBI Act, there is no foundation on anyone to accept rupee as a currency. Someone can just decline that payment. So just any legal process, any process and whatsoever, any communication, any transaction, for it to have a force, the constitution is necessary. So this is why this is the idea that this is so cardinal and so sacred. Then there are certain other basic fundamental important concepts in the field of law which everyone should be aware of, not just the lawyers or the personnel who are reading the legal discipline, but everyone else. For example, rule of law. Rule of law is something which is different from the constitution. You can have a constitution but not rule of law. You may not have a constitution, but you still have rule of law. So I'll just give you two examples. UK, for example, does not have a constitution, but it has rule of law. China has a constitution, but it does not have rule of law. What is rule of law? Rule of law can be understood as a phenomena, as a legal principle, which brings in predictability in governance. For example, if a king rules a country, anyone will be punished as per the wishes of the king. If they may have committed the same offense. If you, for example, if you are living in a monarchy and you steal from someone, then there is one punishment. But if you go and steal from the king, the punishment can be very different. It can be on the wishes of the king. So there is a difference between rule of law and rule by a king. In rule by a king, which is a monarchy, the primary power rests with the king. In under rule of law is the king. So everyone is below the law, including the prime minister, the president, whosoever. If they commit a wrong, they will be punished by law. So this is a very important concept. All of us should be aware of it. But sadly, the curriculum in schools does not include all of these. The third point which I'm trying to bring in here is that learning of law is not just important to become become law-abiding citizens, but citizens. A civilized citizen in any country should have some basic knowledge of the legal system and how does it function. Because legal system has evolved over a period of time as a consequence of civilization. I say civilization because legal system works on the basis of precedents. Precedents as in what has once happened will happen again. So for example, any one of you might have seen in movies or in documentaries or may have read in novels that lawyers argue that in this case X versus Y, this had happened. So my lord, this should happen again. So the entire point of quoting a case is telling the court and the civilization that you have to do this again. This is the basic premise of having a precedent. So this brings, what does this bring in? The basis of a court case citation brings predictability in your lives. So you can plan your lives around law, that if you do something, you will be punished for it and you will be punished in the same manner. So predictability and consistency gets into your life if you know what the law is. You plan your lives around it, and you can live a very comfortable life if you know the basics of the law. Then the fourth point why legal education is important is you can only read the provisions of the constitution. If you just read the constitution like the students do in class 9th and 10th, but there is also something which is known as the judicial treatment of provisions, judicial expansion. So if article 21 for example is there in the constitution of India, it talks about right to life and personal liberty, but this provision has been expanded by the judiciary to include right to privacy also. In various Supreme Court cases, Supreme Court has said right to life is meaningless if it does not include privacy also. Personal liberty is meaningless if it does not include privacy also. So the government and the parliament should respect individuals' right to privacy. This is something which is not mentioned in the constitution. So if you do not read the Justice Puttoswamy judgment, you will not know that this is also included there. So in addition to reading the provisions of the constitution, there are certain basic laws which have been laid out in certain basic judgments by the court, which is also necessary for everyone to know. A few examples are like the Kesavanand Bharti judgment by the Indian Supreme Court, which has said that the Parliament cannot amend anything and everything in the Constitution. There are certain fundamental features in our Constitution which can't be amended. So if you read the Constitution, Article 368 would say that the Parliament can amend anything and everything, but that is immaterial because the court has held that it can't do that. So in addition to reading the bare provisions of the constitution, certain judgments, certain judicial treatment, how these provisions have developed, the knowledge of it is also essential. It has been said by various learned jurists that law is organic. It grows over the period of time. It develops like language develops. So its development should also be followed once you read any law. Then why again it is also important for all students at certain level they should know the law so that they are able to protect it. They can protect themselves not always by hiring a lawyer. You might not know that in any court case in which you are involved in, you have a right to go and appear for yourself. This is called in-person appearances, and you don't need a lawyer. It is not mandatory. You can have a lawyer if you want to, if you can afford one, but you can still, if you are a you have basic literacy, you can, or even if you do not have that, you can still go to the court and tell your version to the judge, and it is possible that they hear you. So a lot of cases, people do appear for themselves. This is called in-person appearances. But since not everyone knows about it, they always think that it is always necessary that we have to hire a lawyer and pay them to get a legal representation. So there are fundamental rights. Their protection is there, and for those writs are filed to protect fundamental rights. In these writs, it is not necessary for you to have a lawyer. So if your fundamental rights are violated, you can directly go and approach the court and convince them. So this is something which is very important. I will come now to these are the reasons why legal education is necessary in at a school level, not just in India, but these reasons are equally relevant in any jurisdiction. Then I will now, this is an India specific discussion about legal education per se, how students take up legal careers after class 12th in India, or they may also choose it after taking their graduation exams. The new education policy talks about education for practice. So in legal parlance, we will understand it that law should be learnt in a manner so that the lawyers which are produced from the law schools, they are becoming good lawyers. They are able to practice well. But this situation is very ironical, and it is also funny at some level, because if this were to happen, then teachers should also be allowed to go and practice and see in the courts that how does practice of law happens. But sadly, there are rules which do not allow law teachers, to go and practice in the courts. If they do not know how to practice, how will they make the students learn? How should they practice? Because they don't have any right to go and practice. For example, I am a teacher at a law school and I cannot go and appear in a court case. I cannot practice. Unlike the doctors can be teachers in medical colleges and be also be practicing doctors. That is something which the legal uh, education sector does not allow. Then there is this over regulation of law education. For example, all universities in India are regulated by University Grants Commission (UGC), and it prescribes regular regulation of almost everything is decided by UGC on what a university should do, should not do. Each and everything is decided by the UGC. So in addition to UGC, law schools also are regulated by Bar Council of India. So not just law schools, all universities, colleges prescribing a law course need to take permission from Bar Council of India, or its approval, and only then you can run a law course. Otherwise, the Bar Council of India says that we will not recognize this degree. So after you pass out, Bar Council of India will not permit you to practice. Bar is an association of lawyers, so it will not let you practice. You'll be surprised to know, if you do not, then that IITs and IIMs, which are the most successful educational institutes in India, are not regulated at all. They are completely autonomous. Even UGC regulations do not apply on IITs and IIMs. Sadly, national law universities, which are specialized law schools, they do not have such autonomy. They are regulated twice, by UGC and by Bar Council of India, which is a very, very major problem. Then in India, this is a general problem at the university level. The education sector at the university level suffers from exclusive institutions. This is something which does not happen anywhere across the world. For example, in Indian Institute of Technology, IIT, is just an institute for technology. It is not a part of university, which also offers different courses. However, over the period of time, IIT Kharagpur, for example, has opened a law school. Most IITs have also opened a humanities school. But they are essentially institutes for only science and technology. They offered no other curriculum. Similarly, IIMs are specialized institutions for management. National law universities are specialized institutions for lawyers. It does not stop here. There are set of institutions, Indian Institute of Information Technologies, which are specialized institutions for information technology. So we created these specialized institutions. So what it did was that it created, put all the other universities which offered all the courses at a second grade level. So there was basically neglect of traditional universities, which used to be wonderful places of learning. For example, I know from my hometown Allahabad, the University of Allahabad was known as the Oxford of East, but its downfall has been immense, and especially in the last 3-4 decades, it has been almost reduced to a local college level merit. It does not attract the talent that it used to be. It is exactly architecturally same as the Oxford University in the UK. However, it was neglected because the good students only wanted to go to a specialized institution, IIT, IIM, NLU, triple IT. So this is a problem. However, this NEP has rectified it. It has said that the exclusive university should be avoided. Or if there is an exclusive university, it should open up programs for others. So we are now seeing this happening, that IITs are opening up other courses. National Law University in Gandhinagar, for example, also now is providing PhD in physics in a law university. It is important for a higher education institution to have people learning all the subjects in different faculties, so that they interact and there is a holistic development. So for example, there is an interesting story of Steve Jobs. that while his university level, he took up a course in calligraphy. While he was, I think he was studying some subject in science, but he took a course in calligraphy, which was critical when he was designing the Word software for his company Apple's computer Mac. And when he designed the fonts there, they were copied by Microsoft. So if Steve Jobs had not taken that calligraphy class, we will not be having the Word software today. So that is why it is essential that all these places of learnings have multiple options, multiple courses, so that an inquisitive student at a younger age is able to take up their passion, and if they are interested in a particular course. So this is something which NEP has tried to rectify, and we hope that in next 10-15 years we see these universities developing into something better. um, since we are talking about NEP, we should also talk about right to education, which has been expanded by this new NEP. And right to education is a fundamental right guaranteed under the Constitution, which is Article 21A. Its ambit has been increased by the Parliament in this legislation, right to education. It used to be a free and compulsory education from class 6 to age 6 to 14. Now it is age 3 to 18. So basically till 14 years they plan to cover education only till class 8. Now if it is now 18, then it makes it necessary and incumbent that education happens till class 12. So, till class 12, as we know, the education is almost necessary for anyone, even if they don't plan to be educated after that. They can still be having basic knowledge, and they are better at whatever they do. But there is a certain problem area with RTE also. RTE says that 25% of the seats should be reserved in all, even in if it is an entirely private run school, it should be reserved for students who are from the economically weaker sections in from the neighborhood. But the problem is not that. The problem is that education is a state subject. That means state is going to make a rule on how should schools function. So different states have made different rules. So what if you are a private person and you want to set up a school? Where will you set up a school? You will set up a school where the rules are minimal in that state. If you plan to set up in a state which has very difficult, complicated rules, you will just skip the idea, set up something else. So, and if this 25% seats are reserved, if the subsidies are not properly given by the government, then it is possible that the entrepreneur someday just shuts the school down and starts any other business. Let us be realistic and understand that education for a private person is at the end of the day a business decision. They are there to earn profit and also to educate. No, I'm not talking about everyone, but there are the majority of the people who are looking to make their ends meet also, and get into a profession, which will not happen if we make more detailed rules on the this aspect of the RTE. Then possibly it can be better, and there should be a harmony between the rules which are framed by the state. Since it is a state subject, it is constitutionally problematic to have an RTE at the central level and its implementation in everywhere. This is something which needs to be corrected. I think I'll rest my case here. Thank you all. Thank you for being patient.
Wonderful, Mr. Raghav Pandey. You have covered almost all aspects. There are few things which the youth would like to know, and the people from the world over. I'm getting. That's why I was operating this, because it's coming on my watch party and it's coming on my Facebook. Number one, because you studied law, you're practicing law. Uh, People, those are interested to get into law, is there any particular subject you should be having bent of mind or attitude or aptitude in your class 11th and 12th?
uh, you see, this is not I cannot be answering in 100%, but if you have a scientific bent of mind, then you can be a very good lawyer. I was a science side student all my life, and I scored really good marks. I don't want to tell my marks here, but then they were quite good, and people were surprised. So this is also a problem of the legal sector, that it carries a stigma, unlike the legal sector in developed countries like UK and US, where lawyers are, they live at top of the society life. So a lot of people asked me that, you were good at studies, why did you do law? मतलब कहीं और एडमिशन नहीं हो रहा था क्या, तो क्यों लॉ कर लिया? So those kind of things happened. But trust me, if you get into a good law school, and if you have a scientific bent of mind, because law at the end of the day is a scientific subject. It involves deduction, analogy. If these two elements are present, then a crime is happening. A plus B is equal to C, a crime. So which is very logical. But I believe law is such an interesting and a different area, that anyone, if they are passionate about law and policy and governance in general, you will do good in the legal field.
Okay. Second part, you very nicely explained it, but in a little simplest way, because you are carrying all practical things. People, those are studying in IITs and those are studying in IIMs, they go for their internship or they go for their corporate training and everything. Does law student also go accordingly?
Yes, certainly. So all good law schools, in fact, have an internship program and an internship cell, where the students. Uh, Sorry.
Per semester, or is it, how is it?
Yeah, it's a semester program, and in fact, law schools get an extended vacation, because students are expected to go and work at a law firm, or at a chamber of a lawyer, or be a clerk to a judge. All of these are expected from all law students, and more than the college expecting it, the students expect it more, because it at the end of the day, it helps them get a job. And it's a well, the legal profession is a very handsomely paying sector. So almost, if you are a decent student in a decent law school, you can be sure to have a 12 to 15 lakh package in after you graduate after 5 years.
Wonderful. And one more point, because a lot of non-resident Indians are watching this program. So like you have got NRI's children, those are interested to come to India and to do their medical. So there is a special provision and something is there. Is there anything for the non-resident Indians children also in law?
Yes. So there is a category, and it is very nuanced. If the child itself is a foreign citizen or an NRI, then there is a separate reservation for it for them. Of course, the fees is different, and even if the student is an Indian resident and an Indian citizen, if an NRI is ready to sponsor them, then also there is a separate reservation for them. Of course, fees is different for them. But yes, all law schools, all especially national law universities have that provision.
Wonderful. One more point, like you're a medical doctor, you have done MBBS in India, you want to go abroad, you want to practice in a different country, so you got to take up some kind of an exam, or you got to take up something initially over there only thereafter you can start your practicing. So let's take it, there's an Indian lawyer who's a qualified, who's practicing over here for a sizable number of years. Now, can they take up some case abroad, or can they take up some legal matter abroad without qualifying something of that kind? If they are going on a
Uh, uh, See, you cannot directly go and argue if it is a not non-common law country. In every country has a different rule. Maybe UK you can. In US you can't, because US has a different exam for all bars. So if you want to go and practice in New York, so there is a New York bar exam which you have to clear, and it is very tough. very, very tough to clear it. Yes.
Okay. Great. Wonderful. Such a wonderful way you had covered it very nicely. So we will take 5 minutes with the children, and thereafter we get you back and we take a final word from your side for the entire galaxy, and then we will close the program. So let me invite these kids so that you can also listen to them what the younger generation think today with regard to, because we started this series and we dedicated to water conservation throughout India. So let's start from Ahana. Good evening, Ahana.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Hey, child, good evening. Let's share your views because world over, let people listen to you quickly, nicely, to the point on the water saving. What is your strategy and what is your vision?
Of course, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I think through all these webinars that have happened, we've learned so much about water conservation at our homes and in industries. But I would like to talk about a few methods that we've seen in villages across India. There's a thing known as joy pumps. And it sounds very odd, but actually, it converts the process of pumping water, which sounds very mundane and strenuous, into something that's fun and easy. So joy pumps are conventional hand pumps that are attached to merry-go-rounds and seesaws. So while children are playing and they're enjoying themselves and enjoying their childhood, water is actually being pumped from the ground into tanks that are above water. Another invention that has come into villages is known as a cycle run water pump, which is a cycle, or now it's become a stepper that we often see in our gyms. Here, children, adults, old people, anybody really, when they're cycling or when they're using the stepper, again, water from the ground, below the ground, is pumped upwards, and it can be used to irrigate their fields, or it can be used to fill their tanks, anything really. And it's made this process that sounds so cumbersome into something that's fun and exciting. Imagine if we had this in our apartments, in our complexes, when all the kids downstairs go to play, when all the adults in our apartments exercise in the evening, they can actually help to manage water in our apartments itself. Lastly, in the coastal areas of Cochin, I saw that there's something known as a rainwater syringe. Because the groundwater is so saline and so salty, they have come up with a way to allow rainwater to seep into the groundwater below, thereby recharging it, reducing the salt level, and making it easy for everybody to use. To conclude, I'd like to just give you give all of our audience just some food for thought. All of these villagers and all of the people living in rural areas, they've come up with these inventions because they needed it. Water was scarce or they faced droughts. We are not at that position yet. Imagine if we used small inventions like this, or if we took small efforts at home like this. Imagine how much we could do. Do we really need something so drastic to motivate us to save water or not? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ahana. Very kind of you. Priyanka, good evening. Priyanka, good evening, beta.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening to everyone. So, as a hospitality student, I know about the amount of water consumption as well as wastage that happens in the hotel industry. So, today I'm here to speak about a few small, unexpected ways that hotels and restaurants can actually save a lot of water. So, firstly, with the guests' permission, the housekeeping department, they can avoid changing the sheets in the room every single day because laundry takes up tons of water in a hotel, and that's a major part where we can conserve water. Secondly, they can encourage guests to use reusable water bottles instead of placing those packaged plastic water bottles in the rooms and the restaurants, because a lot of them are thrown with half of the water left in them. And in the kitchen, restaurants can wash.
Yes. So what do you suggest? What is to be done instead of that keeping the bottles?
One way would be to keep a jug of water in the rooms instead of promoting plastic water bottles.
Understood. Okay.
Yes. So another, in the kitchen, when we talk about the kitchen, the restaurants can start washing vegetables or any kind of produce in a pot instead of using running water, because that uses a lot more water. And another thing is restaurants can be mindful and they can thaw the foods overnight in the refrigerator instead of using running water again for the same, which requires a lot more water. And another thing would be restaurants, hotels in general, they need to deal with leaky faucets, equipment, the dishwashers, all of that as soon as possible, because that contributes to a lot of water wastage. And lastly, for all of this, I think raising awareness among the staff about water conservation and mindful ways to conserve water is very important and will go a long way. So fortunately enough, there are actually many hotel brands that have started initiatives for water conservation, and this includes international chains like Marriott, Hyatt, Radisson, etc. And it also has homegrown brands of India like ITC, Taj, Oberoi, etc. Now, one of the most well-known ones of this would actually be ITC's concept of responsible luxury. So that is what they use, and they promise luxury while saving the environment. So I would like to conclude by saying that I hope the steps that I mentioned are effective and they help in our mission to save our planet one step at a time. Thank you.
Thank you. I found for the first time a child doing a particular discipline, particular program, hotel management, and giving the water saving there itself in a beautiful way. Really
Thank you,
nice.
sir.
Bless you, child.
Thank you.
Shraddha, good evening, child. Shraddha.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
It is often said that we do not tend to understand the importance of water until the well runs dry. And in this current world, we are not adopting enough sustainable practices. So we aren't very far to reach a situation where the well has actually run dry. Keeping this in mind, I would like to present a few suggestions of how water can be conserved when it comes to colleges, since all of us are now in different colleges and the education rate of India is growing. The first point I would like to mention is most colleges these days have really large campuses with almost one-fourth of the campus being covered with lush green lawns. These are done to improve the aesthetic appeal and also add greenery and liveliness to the campus. Watering of these lawns now requires a lot of water. So instead of using fresh water every time the lawns need to be watered, recycled water can be used. For example, waters from the kitchen that has come after washing of vegetables or after cooking. My second suggestion is that the colleges provide accommodation facilities because students come from all over the world. These students can be educated to conserve water when they're performing their day-to-day activities like brushing or bathing. Instead of having water supplied for 24 hours, devices and sensors could be installed to sense when water is required and when it is not. These are even trying to be put in practice in certain universities abroad. This concept can be adopted in India and it will help save water to a considerable extent. My last suggestion would be most areas in a college are now installed with air conditioners and coolers. So these can use recycled water in their cooling systems rather than using fresh water every single time. This not only helps in saving water, but it helps in saving electricity as well. So to conclude, I would like to say that water is a resource that cannot be replaced. And it's time for us to take some action before the well runs completely dry. Therefore, let's take some simple steps to try and save water so that we can ensure a sustainable future. Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you. Thank you very much. Let's have Sanjukta. Sanjukta. Sanjukta, good evening, child. Your audio, yeah. Your audio, yes.
Oh, so am I audible now?
Yes, yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I would like to start by saying, when we look at the globe, we see like it's blue. It means like 71% of it is covered with water. But to be honest, only 0.3% of it is what we can use. And I mean, the water resources are limited in nature. It's not like it's going to last forever. People who have studied future have predicted that the next World War is going to be fought for water. And that's kind of weird for us, but I think that's going to happen. So now I'm going to be talk about how various industries like automobiles, textile industries use water. I mean, use water in a way that can be used for something else. So starting with the garment and textile industry. So it is assumed that 65 pairs of clothing is bought by an individual every year. But do we know that it takes 10,330 liters of water to just make one jacket? And I mean, clothing is a basic necessity. I'm not asking anyone to stop buying clothes, but we need to draw a line between what we need and what we want. There's a difference between what we need and what we want. So if we just buy what we need, we'll be saving a lot of water. Second in line is the beverage industry. Now, we all enjoy cold drinks, and I personally do a lot. But the amount of water used to produce cold drinks, that can be used to save lives, like in rural parts of the world, in countries like Africa, they have no water and we're using water just to make a cold drink. And I mean, the second industry is the cars industry. I mean, it takes 39,000 gallons of water to just produce one car. And that's a lot of water. It's almost like 25 years of drinking water for one individual, and we're just using it to make one car. So I don't think owning 10 cars at the cost of sacrificing water resources is cool anymore. I mean, again, I repeat myself, there's a difference between what you need and what you want. So if you just have one car, that's going to do all the job that you require. And these industries are not only using the water resources, but they are also polluting our water bodies. So we need to take a step forward and do something so that we don't have a world war just for water. Okay, so it should be considered as like every drop of water saved should be considered as a life saved. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure that Patanjali Group would be very happy this evening. And I hope Pepsi and Coca-Cola people are not listening. And at the same time, it is encouraging when I hear from a young child that we should not be using cold drink or all this. That's something is very encouraging if a young child tells that. God bless you, child. Thank you. Okay, let's have Janaki. Janaki, good evening to you, child. Janaki, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, beta. Please go ahead.
Okay. Rivers flow through mountains like cascades to feed the children of Mother Earth. I believe that it is the responsibility of the entire human race to respect the integrity of this water and their own Mother Earth. They say charity begins at home. So I am over here to represent in front of all of you a few points about how we can conserve water at home. Firstly, using the leftover water after washing vegetables. This is something which my own mother does. She tends to use that water for watering the plants. And it is actually very beneficial for plants, that leftover water. That is one really important thing. Secondly, in my house, there is one air conditioner. It is a little old and it tends to leak water. So what we do is that we put a bucket under the point from where the water is leaked, and we store it, and the next day we either use it for washing our balcony, or either for mopping or cleaning the house. It is multi-purpose. It is actually clean water, so we tend to do it, and it has been very helpful till now. Then there is this one very interesting thing I came across. There was this article in which this lady said that if you have ice cubes which are left over, like from the previous day, some leftover ice cubes which you might not be able to use instantly, you should put them in the plants. I mean, and apparently those ice cubes water is good for the plants. So that is one really interesting thing which I came across. Then recently, this whole trend of earlier, my mother as a child, she used to tell me that they used to wash their clothes every day. But now everyone is using washing machines, and the most important factor while using washing machines is that it takes a lot of water for each and every step from soaking to rinsing. And one very little thing which can make a huge difference is by using the washing machine only when it is full. Not when it is half full, only when it is completely full, because it is going to take all the water that it needs. If the washing machine per cycle uses 6 liters of water or 15 liters of water, it is going to take that whole water anyways, whether you fill it half or you fill it full. So why not fill it full and have a better impact? Then the next point being watering plants early in the morning. When I was a kid in, I think, fifth standard, I did this in my EVS textbook, that you should water the plants early in the morning because the environment is cool. So the water won't evaporate that much and the plants can use it for all their purposes. My dear friends, and one last suggestion for everyone, to turn off the faucet while shaving, brushing, or washing of hands, not to keep it instantly on. One thing I noticed, there was this Gobi guard here where these people were washing clothes, and what they did was that they kept the water running. I mean, the bucket was getting overfilled and the water was still running, it was flowing all over the place and getting wasted. Some of us do that at homes if we ever wash clothes on our own. So kindly avoid that. I have a very humble request here to make to everyone that please help your planet in conserving water, because every drop counts and every small thing that you do is going to make a huge difference. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, these were the 5 wonderful kids of Universe who shared their vision, who shared their thought process, how to save every drop of water on this planet. Each one of them, इन बच्चों को जब देखते हैं, इन बच्चों को जब मिलते हैं, इनके आइडियाज को सुनते हैं, they are so creative, they are so innovative, they are so dynamic, and they are so versatile. I would say I pray to Almighty that we bless them all the times. This future generation is going to carry forward the torch and the flag very well. With these words, I once again come back to Mr. Raghav Pandey ji. It was such a pleasure to have you this evening with us. It was such a pleasure to share and to get your vision with all of us. एक फाइनल वर्ड आपकी तरफ से हो जाए, उसके बाद फिर सारे संसार को कहेंगे, जिनको गुड मॉर्निंग है, जिनको गुड आफ्टरनून है, जिनको गुड इवनिंग है, अपनी अपनी जगहों पर स्वस्थ रहें, ठीक से रहें, अच्छे से रहें, and they all should take care of themselves. So, एक final word from your side, what you would like to convey to the children who want to choose a law or taking a law as their career, as a subject, as a profile, and those are looking forward to future to become the leading judiciary experts of the universe.
Well, certainly, I think law is a very lucrative career option. I told you that how it pays you well, but also if it does, if you are going to start a practice in a court, you may not start with a lot of money initially. But then what I can assure is that the amount of money at the end of the day, at the when you reach your 60, 40s, 50s, 60s, the amount of money which you'll be making is something which is unimaginable by any other professional, like a doctor or a CA or anyone. Any profession, a professional will not make that money except for industrialists. Just for the information of the kids, there are in India 1 crore a day lawyers who make 1 crore rupees a day. One day they go to the court, they pocket 1 crore rupees. So that kind of money is not available anywhere, but then they start very humbly. So the start of the practice is very slow, but then when it picks up, then you can almost be on a rampage of making money. Moreover, more and more importantly, you will be a part of the justice process, wherein you can get people justice, which is something which is unimaginable by any other professional. A doctor can save a life, but for example, if someone is injured by someone, a doctor can certainly save a life, which is a very beautiful professional output they have. But then you will be able to give that person justice if they are injured by someone, which is I think very, very important. And no other professional service will give you that kind of satisfaction. I have seen everyone in my family is a lawyer, so I have seen clients coming and just breaking down in tears when their loved ones are released on a bail. So this gives you a very different kind of satisfaction, not just in terms of money, but in terms of providing people with justice. This is you can become enablers of justice. So you should definitely aspire to be such enablers of justice, dharma, nyay, and you can be part of that process. And it was very lovely talking to all of you here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was such a pleasure to have you. And we wish you all the luck, all the good days ahead, everything nicely. And ladies and gentlemen, he has muted his mic. I hope he is not listening what I'm going to say now. Please, during this coronavirus, during this pandemic, I have learned and we are gathering the facts from world over that people are fighting at home. We are having a lot of misunderstanding. The husband and wife, they are trying to, they are not trying to understand. We know your tempers are running high. We know that it's very difficult. I won't say that to tolerate each other for such a long time in the 4 rooms or 2 rooms at home and all. But I hope Raghav Pandey is not listening because lots of divorce cases will come up. That's what I am gathering and I am listening and I am getting the facts from world over that people are turning high, people are turning dry, they are losing their cool, they are beating up and all. I would pray and I would request, let's not give more money to Raghav Pandey and you all should live peacefully world over wherever you are. That's the way we would request you. It was a wonderful evening. It was an awesome evening. It was a very scintillating and a very knowledgeable evening. And it was altogether a different evening which we got. I am thankful to Professor B.K. Tripathi ji, the director of the Inter-University Center for Teacher Education, all the way from Kashi. Those are training the teachers and all, and they're trying to get the variety and versatile experiences from the different across the entire arena of the human resources, and we will call it now education, not human resources development. It's a Ministry of Education. So Raghav Pandey, pleasure to have you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And I pray to Almighty all the good days for you, your family, and everybody. And we are signing off for today and look forward meeting all of you tomorrow evening, wherever you are world over. Till the time, stay fine, stay fit, stay healthy, take care of your health. So great morning, great afternoon, and great evening world over wherever you are. Thank you.